And we are live. This is Olivier, and this is the IoT show. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll be together for 1 hour, and we'll walk through the IoT booth. We have a huge booth this year at Build, and we're going to look at some of the cool demos of all the IoT stuff that was brought here. We have Ashley and Jill today, and we're talking about Azure IoT Solution Accelerators. Beyond having a very cool Lego truck here, guys, can you tell me a bit about what's going on in this booth here?
Yeah, so this is our connected Lego truck here. So you can imagine that you're a shipping company and you're trying to get milk to your customers. You probably don't want it to be too warm. By the time it gets there, it'll spoil, right? So we have our connected device here, which is our MX chip. An MX chip is preloaded with a lot of different sensors on here, like temperature, humidity, location. And so imagine you have this connected to your refrigeration system in the back, and you're able to monitor how that's going on the fleet track.
Okay.
And then Jill here can go ahead and show you our dashboard.
Yeah, so we have this Lego truck. It's sending data to the IoT hub,
Yep.
And through our open source solution for remote monitoring, you can see the telemetry coming through on our dashboard.
Okay, so real time.
In real time, yeah. And like as we start to handle this device, you can see the temperature was spiking as Ashley was holding it. And so that you can see the real world benefits of being able to set some rules so that you can fire alerts when you detect that there might be something you need to go and fix.
So that remote monitoring solution is something that is not new, but we actually are announcing something during Build, right? What is it exactly we're announcing?
We're releasing remote monitoring V2 GA. We announced it just this week. So you can go to GitHub, you can go to AzureIoTSolutions.com to check out our solution, deploy it into your own Azure subscription so that you can try it out.
What you're saying is that someone can go ahead and, with an Azure subscription, they can do the free trial as well. They can deploy their own remote monitoring solution end-to-end, then connect real devices like we have here with this MX chip up to Azure and to this solution, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And beyond that, once you start to get comfortable with the solution, all of the code is available on GitHub. So as you are ready for your own IoT scenario, you can deploy it and start to customize it for yourself. So maybe you don't like our dark theme, maybe you want to customize the colors, but maybe you want to go beyond that. Maybe you have a really specific solution and you want to add some smart processing into your data.
And do you guys also have some examples in the solution for doing device management kind of things?
Absolutely.
What do you have?
So here we go. Here we have all of our devices. Some of these are simulated. So pre-can, we give you some simulated devices to play around with. So maybe you don't have a device to connect. But when you're ready, we can go ahead and click on our Lego truck here. You can see specific data about this device. You can see the methods that are available. So here we have this LED color change, firmware update. So if we want to execute that method, we can come in and do device command and control. When we select our Lego truck, execute a job, run a method here, give it a name. Anyway, you can give it a name, give it a job, and run that job, and apply. And then you'll see it come up in your jobs portal, be able to manage alerts on that device.
And it's all embedded in that click to deploy solution, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome, great guys. Thanks a lot for that overview, and great job on the booth here.
Get you started with IoT.
Let's go, guys. We have some more to see around here. So around here we have connected factory, right? So connected factory is one of the specific scenarios that we can cover with IoT solutions. And we have a pre-configured solution for industrial automation. And we have Antonio here with us. Hey, Antonio, how are you doing? Good, good. So Antonio is coming from Portugal to come and talk to people here about this connected factory solution. And we have a fantastic wall of devices. Can you tell me a bit about that, Antonio?
Yes, those devices are actually connected with our IoT hub. That's part of our IoT solution accelerator called Connected Factory.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do I get in here with that connected factory? Like, I imagine it's like the other solution accelerators, click deploy. So what's in there and how is it special compared to the other ones?
So basically what we offer here is a very good way for customers that have already their devices that are able to talk OPC way to be able to connect with our IoT hub. So basically we select which OPC server do you want to connect with, and that's it. You start sending data to IoT hub. So what we show here exactly is one of the walls that we have here with these devices is actually sending data in real time to our IoT hub, and we have a way to drill down to our set of devices, in this case 4 of them, and start seeing real data when we do something on those devices.
So you didn't give details, but OPC UA is a protocol that is used in factories, a lot in Europe and more in the US. What you're telling me is that if I have an OPC server, actually, or client, I can actually directly input the data into my pre-configured solution for Connected Factory, and immediately I'm going to see data flowing, and I can start managing my devices.
Exactly. And very important part here is that this is using IoT Edge, because IoT Hub will not allow you to read data directly from an OPC UA protocol. So that's IoT Edge role here, is to translate that to the protocol that IoT Hub can read.
Got it. So you have Azure IoT Edge, which we'll talk about after later on. So IoT Edge in here that does the bridge to the OPC UA world for the Azure world, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Antonio.
Yes.
See you soon. Good to see you. We have more to see, guys. Let's go. Hey, Sandeep. Hey. Hey, guys. Sorry to interrupt. We're here live with the IoT show, and we are actually talking about the various products that we have and the various demos that we have. So I'm interrupting very rudely. We'd like to get Sandeep's take onto IoT Central and what's going on in this booth, and then it's going to be all back to you.
All right.
Work?
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Hi guys, online there. So we are at the IoT Central booth here. Pretty busy since morning. A lot of interest, especially on the SaaS side of things.
Okay.
I mean, people actually, it's really resonating that people don't want to manage these resources on their own.
Okay.
And the whole idea of SaaS is really, really appealing to people. So.
When you say SaaS, software as a service.
Software as a
Everyone knows
service,
that, right?
absolutely.
Okay.
Software as a service. Again, the overhead that comes along with managing the services, be it the cloud services or the entire suite of let's say it's analytics or be it monitoring, all of that is part of the entire solution.
Okay.
So people are super excited with that
That's cool.
entire suite.
And so we just talked about the solution accelerators, which are about a set of services that are pre-deployed on your Azure subscription.
Yeah.
So can you present IoT Central? You just give the high-level pitch, but how different is it from solution accelerators, and why would you pick one or the other?
Great question, right? So I think the key differentiator here is if you're trying to do an entire solution by yourself, if you need high level of customization or optimization for your solutions, then you need the control of the entire stack. And then pre-configured solutions or accelerator is the right place for you to start, so that you can start from there and then build off of whatever of that, right? So that is the key pitch for accelerators. For IoT Central, the other idea is we offer a fully managed service for you, right? So you have you don't have to worry about anything about your hardware or anything about your services that you run. So if you think of it, if you think of the IoT space as a pyramid, there is a high level of customization at the top, and then there is a bottom layer where you have a large set of customer base which need something right out of the box, and they don't want to manage anything. They just want something out of the box, and that is something that is really appealing for our customers there. So don't want to manage your devices, everything comes out of the box. The key scenarios of monitoring, analytics, there you go.
And they can set up the device models as well there, right? So they're not constrained to a specific type of device. They can define that device model, and they can then adapt all the dashboarding. I hear there's also a way to assign permissions for certain types of users. Can you tell us real quick about that?
Sure. So as I said, IoT Central is a SaaS platform. So obviously there are various segments of actual customers or users using it. There could be representatives or field service technicians.
Yeah.
So they might have a certain sort of capability they want to use. There could be actual builders. They want to sort of put code on their devices. There could be actual architects who actually want to define the entire product itself, right? So all of these have different permissions. And for example, an operator can do a certain set of things on the device itself, like change certain settings, or run a command on the setting, or do some sort of a visualization for a certain set of the devices. So that permission is restricted for those sort of for that set of customers, and they can only do those things. And while the builders on the system they can actually define the product and then go all the way down to actually managing the devices. So
Awesome.
So it's a SaaS, as I said, it's a SaaS platform, has various components to it as well. So
Okay, where does it get started?
the get started is on. We have a free 7-day trial. You can go to apps.azureidcentral.com. You have, as I said, a free trial, and go there. It takes less than, let's say, 30 minutes to get started.
Awesome.
If you have a MX chip, Raspberry Pi, all works. Get us a device, connect it, see the magic happen.
Awesome. Thanks, Cindy.
Thank you so much.
See you later.
Thanks.
Kyle, can I interrupt you?
Oh, sure. Hi there.
Of course, we're live with the IT show.
Yeah.
If you want to stay, you can.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, it's awesome. We're just talking about connected field service.
Exactly. So, what the heck? What is connected field service, which is a dynamic service, doing on the IoT booth? Tell me.
It's
Well,
awesome.
I know,
I'm
but you
glad
might
you
not.
asked. Okay, I'm glad you asked. Connected field service brings together two important capabilities: the IoT capabilities in Azure with the field service solution that sits inside of Dynamics 365. In the past, field service was largely a function of pre-scheduled service or service that was given on demand. When something breaks, you go fix it. But connected field service actually helps us to change that model so that it can actually be predictive and proactive. So think about the information flow coming in from Azure IoT. The analytics determines that something needs to take an action. So it sends that action into connected field service. Connected field service can then use the power of Dynamics and the field service solution to decide what action to take. You might take a manual action to triage that, or you could take an automatic action to create a work order or dispatch that technician. So it's very possible that somebody could be on their way fixing the solution long before the customer knows they even have a problem.
That's awesome. And I would assume that it's easy to hook up connected field service with any of the IoT solutions out there, right? We talked about the solution accelerators, pre-configured solutions, the IoT Central as well, and all of them have IoT Armon in the hooks.
Yes.
So
exactly.
you guys actually can be hooked up to any of these, right?
Exactly. It's just natural to connect up to any of those IoT solutions offered under the Azure umbrella.
Cool. That was awesome. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Okay, thanks. It's good to see you.
And see you soon.
Okay,
See you
thanks,
back.
guys.
So now we're going across the corridor here. And I'm going to join Mike. And we're going to interrupt Mike. Hey, Mike.
Hey.
How are you, man?
All right,
Good
how
to see
about you?
So, Mike, you are here on the Azure Sphere booth. Right?
Yes.
So, what is Azure Sphere?
Azure Sphere is three things. It's silicon. Today we have a development board that looks like this. The silicon comes from
Did you draw
MediaTek.
that?
No.
Say yes, no.
Oh yes, yes I did.
It's like too late. Anyways.
So this is a MediaTek MT3620 chip. So that runs on the development board, and there's IP security built into the silicon. On top of that, there's a secure OS, which is based on a Linux kernel, and then on top of, and your app runs on top of that. And then above that, there is a cloud service, which is the security service for not only the OS, but also the applications that a device maker would write to run on top of the OS.
Awesome. So basically, you take care of securing everything down from the hardware all the way up to the app, right? Including the app, I guess, right?
Including
You have
the
an
app.
app model, right?
Yes, that's right.
So, what do you have here? Because, excuse me, we're talking about 2018 and new type of devices, and then you're bringing out here.
Well, Microsoft's all about back compatibility.
Back compatibility.
Right? So this is Microsoft's latest product, Azure Sphere, running Microsoft's first product, 8K ROM Basic. Right? So this is the Altair 8800 front panel, and if you were to look inside, you would see an Azure Sphere development board that is connected to a SparkFun TMP102 temperature sensor, and then we have a PuTTY connection to the development board that is running a basic application that can query the temperature using ports within the basic application. And we've overridden a command called csave within the basic language that instead of writing to cassette or tape, takes that temperature data that it's read from Azure Sphere and sends it to IoT Central. Right? Cool. So here is the temperature being plotted in IoT Central from a basic application running on Altair as on top of an 8080 emulator running on Azure Sphere.
That's freaking cool.
Right.
I love that. So, I don't want to leave it to that, because this is freaking cool. I love it. But I'm seeing a wall of devices down there. Can you walk us to that?
Sure.
And show us real quick what it is? Let's do that.
So we have a set of devices here, things like internet radio and microwave and vacuum cleaner and washing machine and so on, right? So obviously these are mock-ups, right?
Oh, they're not real devices?
Not real devices.
As in I cannot just walk over them, right? Okay.
So
but still,
this has an Azure Sphere board behind it. So each of these devices alive, running like live data. So as I'm interacting with this device, either starting the wash or choosing options, that's outputting telemetry data that is also being sent to Azure IoT Central.
Got it.
Right?
So why as a washer or microwave manufacturer would I want to install Azure Sphere on my devices?
Okay, that's a really easy question to answer.
Okay.
So many devices today are not connected in any way, right?
Okay, yeah,
so
true.
a device maker, like a washing machine maker or microwave or whatever else, one of the things that they can do is in effect have a new business model around predictive maintenance for their devices. So inside of their device, you've obviously got a lot of moving parts, right? So if you can have sensors on there that look at the temperature of the water or the vibration on the drum or whatever else, then across hundreds or thousands or millions of devices, you can start to see trends across those devices and predict failure in some of your devices and pre-contact the customer and say, it looks like your device may be coming up for a failure. We can send somebody to fix that right now, rather than it failing and being down for some period of time.
Makes sense.
Right? But that's great not only in the consumer space, but also in the industrial space where machinery being down for a while can obviously be very expensive.
Got it. And I totally understand that need of connecting these devices, but let me dive into a bit like why Sphere versus something else? Why Azure Sphere? What's the big difference? What's the big value add? Because there are other devices out there, other technology that allow you to connect sensors to the cloud and do something out of that.
Right. So security is the thing, right? If you think back to October of last year, there was the botnet attack, right? Devices taken over and used in a DDoS attack, right? So there is multiple layers of security built into Azure Sphere. I'll give you one example. So if you're writing an application, there's an application manifest that goes with the application, and you put the web endpoints that application talks to in the manifest. If that application tries to talk to an endpoint that is not within that manifest, it's blocked. So even if somehow someone were to inject some code into that application, or there was an issue with that application, there is no way for it to talk to any endpoints other than the endpoint that you put into your manifest.
So it's basically an unhackable device.
The same is also true for hardware access. If you specify the UARTs and the GPIOs and so on that your application is using.
Cool. So Sphere has been announced some weeks ago. Here at Build, is there something new, something special we're talking about?
Well, this is the first time that we're giving people hands-on access to the development tools and boards. We're running our hands-on labs in about half an hour. I'm presenting a session.
We're live just after that. We go to the Azure Sphere way.
So I'm presenting a session on the app model, showing how to write code, talking about the security model, showing developers how to do this stuff.
Got it. I think we have some hands-ons as well down there.
In Tahoma 4.
Yeah, awesome, cool. Mike,
great.
It was a pleasure.
Good to see you.
I like the answer thing.
Yeah, me too.
Keep the good thing coming. Let's go see another old-timer at Microsoft here. And this guy is here, and I'm going to be rude again. That's what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. Hey, Lou, how are you, man?
How's it going?
Good.
Going well.
So, Lou, people know you because they've seen you here and there. You're the guy who was doing cool stuff with Windows IoT, right? And here we have a couple of bots, cute bots.
Yep.
Can you tell me a bit more? I interrupted them, so I can interrupt you as well.
That's okay.
Can you tell me a bit about what you're showing here and what is these bots for?
Well, we're here representing Windows 10 IoT Core. We've invited Misty Robotics, which was an early adopter of IoT Core. A few years ago, they were trying to build up this robot that they called the Apple II of robotics to build a stable platform for people to experiment on. They had a problem. They spent 4 months trying to build up on competing platforms, and they weren't making much progress. So they looked at IoT Core, and in 2 days were able to accomplish everything that they had done in 4 months and more. So they were sold on the product.
Okay.
They're actually getting close to shipping. They're running a crowdfunding campaign for their Misty 2 that they're going to deliver in the beginning of December, and it's 50% off during their crowdfunding campaign. When do I get mine?
What are you showing up there?
So right here, since Misty is designed for early roboticists and exploring of robots, this is for primary education, so you can just drive it around and actually get a sense of what it means to interact with robots without having a depth of knowledge for programming.
Okay.
However, if you want to step up, they actually have a JavaScript API, a Go, Python, and even C#. so that you can program using higher level languages.
So I can actually have my kids using Scratch.
Essentially, this is
Do
Blockly,
something.
but yeah.
I'm gonna have my 8 years old hacking the bot using Scratch. That's cool. I like that.
Eventually, you'll be able to get raw data streams off the robot, and if you want to provide higher level or lower level interaction with the robot, you can do that as well. It's got some pretty cool. I want to show you just one cool feature,
Show me something.
which is it has hardware extensibility points. I know, right? You can 3D print your own appendages. So if you want to have a tray or a laser pointer and go have Misty go find your cat and go play with the laser, you can do that kind of.
I love that.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Cool. I love that. That's fantastic. And I am going to be on the list, right?
Oh, I am too.
Okay. Where people can find information about that?
Go to mistyrobotics.com. They have a community forums there, and you can reach out to them as well.
This is powered by Windows 10 IoT Core, one of the IoT product that we have here at Microsoft. Lou, thanks a lot.
No
I
worries.
think Misty has to take a plane right now.
Yes, she
Thanks
does.
for holding for us.
No
See you
worries.
soon. Okay, guys, we have some farming stuff to go work on.
We want to have the IoT Core version.
As told you earlier on, we are here live at the IoT show.
Yes.
And we want to talk a bit about what you have here. And that talks about intelligent agriculture, right? We talked about things around solutions. We talked about the platforms like Windows IoT and Azure Sphere. But here's a real solution that actually does really something, right? So can you tell us a bit, Rita, well, first who you are and what you do, and then we'll talk about the solution.
Yes, I am in Microsoft. I'm a principal architect for the FarmBits project. So basically, I'm making sure that whatever we show here, it really works.
No pressure.
No pressure, yes. We have the real live demos here, despite the fact that it's an agriculture project. I have the real grass field here with the real sensors in it.
Okay.
Right,
So
there's
maybe at a
people-
high level, so we have this very nice graphics. Can you tell us at a high level, maybe people don't know about FarmBits. What is the objective of that project?
So this is all comes from the requirements for precision agriculture.
Okay.
Right, nowadays everybody want to know exactly, well, how much they can put moisture into the ground. Let's say there is a lot of droughts, right, droughted areas. They want to know how much water. They want to know how much pesticide they want to put, right? They want to know how organic their food is, and in this case they have to provide a very precise control over their crops.
Sense?
Some farmers, you know, they won't even know whether the crops were flooded or not. They have to control that as well. So all that we can provide this information, and we can alert them basically in real life, saying that right now your farm, that corner is flooded, or you've got pests, or your temperature is at a certain level when you're ready to go and seed.
That's awesome. So they optimize their farming thanks to all these sensors. So how does that work? Can you show me a little of how things are working, the very sensors that we have?
Sure. So the sensor data get detected inside the ground, right? This application is obviously for the demo. The real application is much more sophisticated. You have to put sensor on a certain level. Once that data gets detected, it transfers to, so it's read by the microcontroller sensor box. Then data get transferred over LoRaWAN, right? We have here a little display. It gets aggregated by our small devices. It's a little up board that stays up, and this is for the data. Then that data gets transferred to the edge where it's processed. Now the processing there, you may or may not need GPU. In this case, you can provide enough power to, let's say, everyday updates for the data, and combine heat maps where we can say exactly where the data is, where is your moisture level is, where is your temperature is, and then send alerts.
So that's computed on Azure IoT Edge in the farm. So you were saying sensors, talking LoRaWAN, so that's low battery consumption and so on. That itself talks to IoT Edge gathers the information, does the analytics. Awesome, I like that. And we have a drone.
The godfather of this project is right here, Ranveer.
Hey, how are you doing?
Hey, good. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
So we are here on the IoT show
Wonderful. Hi.
We're live, actually.
Yo, wow.
Wow.
Hello.
So, yeah, no, you look good. You're good.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so we're going through the Farm Beats project.
Right.
Pretty awesome. Can you tell us a bit, like, how did we come to create that project? How did that work, working with partners, working with customers on these kind of projects?
Right. So we started this about 3 years back. I'm at Microsoft Research. So we made a pitch to our management saying that this is what Microsoft should do. It's a key IoT vertical. There's a big need for this. The world's food production needs to increase by a big amount.
Yeah.
And the question is, how do we get there? Right now, if you look at digital transformation, most people are focused on retail, home, enterprise, but agriculture is one of the key verticals where, in fact, there was a study where people looked at 23 different verticals in terms of digital transformation, and agriculture was ranked 23 out of 23, paired with forest hunting. So hunting and agriculture were like the lowest ranked in terms of digital transformation. What that meant was that we needed key innovations which didn't exist in order to enable agriculture to achieve the digital transformation. In particular, what we wanted was to build a system that can allow farmers to take the benefits of data-driven farming. That is, right now, most farmers, they just shoot in the dark, make guesses about what's going to happen. With this system, we are providing a low-cost way to get a lot of data to the farmers, to get them so that it's no longer guesswork from them. It's actually real data.
But is it, let me ask you, is it like farmers are going to say, hey, I'm going to install that system, and I'm going to install myself, and I'm going to run it myself? Or actually you have a model where they can actually go through a vendor that's going to do the installation, do the management, and just give them the dashboarding of all the things, right?
So with this, it's mainly a platform for developers, where what we are doing is, we are building a platform where you're able to gather a lot of data that previously didn't exist using the TV white spaces, using the IoT Edge. But if you think of it, everything on IoT Edge is running in Docker containers. So what this means is that we can enable, if partners have a service based on that data that they're running in Azure, we can easily run it on Azure IoT Edge and start providing that service to the farming community. I'll give you an example. There's a company called Slant Range, which is really cool. What they build is, they build these unique sensors for drones. And we were showing that at HMI, where on a DJI drone, you could put this slant range sensor. I was presenting at a conference, and Slant Range was like, hey, if you have this you have this IoT Edge platform, our stuff, we can put it in Docker, and then you can run it on IoT Edge. For us, it was easy. In the FarmBeats platform, we could take what Slant Range had and put it in a Docker container as part of the FarmBeats pipeline. So the message for developers here is that now we have a way to gather a lot of data from the farms that didn't exist before. Now come with your latest and greatest AI ideas, build on top of that data, and we would love to expose that on top of the FarmBeats Azure IoT Edge and the cloud, and start providing new services to farmers. And the kind of services you could provide could have real impact. That's what we are seeing when working with the farmers, with the agricultural companies. They all want this. This is a big need, not only for the industry, for the world, for all of us. All of us eat food. We need better food,
I'm glad we got your demonstration for all that cool stuff. I think it brought a lot of attention onto IoT Edge as a technology, but I think the concept of extending capabilities of AI and bringing them to the edge actually is something we're going to dig into, what I think is key to all of that. Right? Ritas, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. See you soon, guys. We're going to go around and we're going to actually talk more about Intelligent Edge with some other folks that we have just here. So, on this side of the booth, actually, we have things related to Intelligent Edge and Azure IoT Edge itself as a technology. And I'm going to try and get into that discussion again so we can get some insight. Can I interrupt you for a second? So we can actually have we have a live interview with the IT show. You can stay around if you want, no problem. Hey, okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Nice to see you. Right? So we were actually going around the demo and we're talking about the various cool IT stuff that are going on here. We just saw the FarmBeats project, started talking about Intelligent Edge. Intelligent Edge and IT Edge and so on. And here we have another very cool demo that I would like for you to run me through so that we can actually see how that's going.
Cool. Right there, press here. So I pressed
and attack value is changed, and path right is right up. This is because this sensor is Hitachi strain sensor. Hitachi strain sensor. Yeah.
So it's what does it measure? It measure the pressure on
object,
the...
object strain, strain. Yeah. So then I add the strain to this whiteboard first.
Okay.
And can detect the strain value of this object whiteboard.
Okay.
After that, this strain data is sent to this open blocks. This is enterprise supported gateway device. This is very small, but Debian OS is running on here and analyzing strain value in real time. If there is anomaly detection, anomaly data, right up, path right, this path right and right up.
Okay, and that was actually happening. I see here where you were talking about functions, machine learning, stream analytics. That's because we're running Azure services that have been developed in the cloud on this tiny device here on top of Azure ITX.
Yeah, exactly.
Running Linux.
Yeah.
I like the little penguin here.
Yeah, thank you. And of course, Windows 10 IoT also can run on this gateway device. Usually, you use Azure Stream Analytics in cloud, but you can deploy Azure Stream Analytics machine learning to edge device.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you can also, so then you connect all of that obviously to Azure IT Hub, and you have more advanced analytics and storage you can do. I see Cosmos DB up there. And in that particular scenario, is it about monitoring strain on these towers to make sure that they're remotely monitored? Okay, awesome. Awesome, cool. That was very insightful. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
And we're going to see some more IoT edge goodness, and we're going to be down there. Let's go. Guys, how are you? Good. We are live with the IoT show, streaming on Channel 9. Okay. And we're going to actually just interrupt you for a second, because I want to talk to that man. He's
That's perfect.
Thank you, guys. Manuel?
Hi, Olivier.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Good to see you again on the Channel 9 IoT show. So we are here on the Azure IoT Edge booth. So we talked about IoT Edge in certain scenarios, like we talked about FarmBits. We saw their demo, pretty cool. They mentioned IoT Edge. They mentioned IoT Edge also on this other strain sensor demo. Can you dive us a little bit more into IoT Edge and what it is and what's new here at Build about it?
So Azure IoT Edge is a platform to bring cloud workloads from the cloud to your edge devices running on-prem, right?
Okay.
And what's new really this year is like bringing custom workloads from the cloud to the edge, especially AI workloads. And so here on this booth, I've got like, and it starts with the simple devices as simple as the Raspberry Pi. We actually announced and gave out a couple of dev kits based on the Raspberry Pi from Seeds here.
Oh, yeah, and it's on the catalog.
It's on the catalog. There are samples published on AzureSamples.com so that developers can just hit the ground running. And here, so this is our cheapest device running Azure IoT Edge. But it's already powerful enough to do AI, right? So I've got a demo here.
You say it's the cheapest one. So what does IoT Edge require to run? I got the question many times. What do you need to run IoT Edge on something on the device?
So you need Windows or Linux operating system. And then you need to have Docker. This is our packaging format right now to push workloads from the cloud to Edge. And then from there on, you just need Python, which is usually pretty easy to install as soon as you've got Docker or Windows or Linux. And then you can install Azure IoT Edge.
So it runs on pretty much anything that can run Docker, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, makes sense.
That's
here, what are you doing with that banana?
So I'm doing an image classification. So it's using the custom vision mode service from the CoinTube services team.
So in the cloud?
In the cloud. So you upload pictures of apples or bananas. And you label them, like this is an apple, this is banana. So that's how you teach the computer. You train everything in the cloud. And then there's a new export button in the custom vision service.
I think we saw that at the keynote, right? I think Jeff demoed that during Scott Goose keynote on Monday.
Yeah, the Scott or no Scott, it's the same demo here. And so there's a new export button directly from the custom vision website where you can now export as a Azure IoT Edge container. And so that's what I've done. And I also written a camera module that sends all the frames to the Raspberry Pi. It runs a custom vision module. And now, so this is a banana. It may not be easy to see, but this is a banana.
And this is an apple.
And this is the apple.
Nice, fantastic.
Yeah, right.
Good discover that. So, another question I had about IoT Edge is actually the availability of the hardware. So you mentioned the kit right now, right? But can I run it on my PC as well?
Absolutely, and that's actually your inner loop for your developer workflow is to set up your developer environment on your PC with Docker running on your PC and have a VM run up on your PC.
Okay.
That is your edge device.
Got it.
And so that's how you iterate quickly.
Any tooling you recommend to make your life easier as a
VS Code,
developer?
VS Code and Azure IoT Edge extension
Okay.
in VS Code and the Docker extension in VS Code. That way you can see all your modules running on your local machine from the extension.
Awesome, Emmanuel. That was a great introduction to IoT Edge. We have more IoT goodness to go watch, and I think we have 20 more minutes together. Hang on, because that's not finished. Let's go. Actually, Rupesh, how are you? Good. We're live with the IoT show on Channel 9. Don't freak out, we're good. We're here to talk about all the cool demos that we brought for Build this year. Are you showing something cool here right now? You're talking about DPS, I think?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. What is DPS?
DPS is our service which enables like an easy way to perform the initial provisioning process of at scale. So if you have like tens of thousands of devices that you would want to provision very easily and in a secure manner, that's when you would come to the DPS service and basically perform all of the cool things that you would.
Okay. Are you showing a small demo or?
Yes.
Right now you have these devices here, right? What are they?
So this is an ASCII device, which is like an industrial wearable. Imagine a factory floor operator who would want to perform certain, you would want to send some instructions to the factory floor operator through a wearable. You could do that with this.
Okay,
right?
awesome.
And what we're showing here pretty much is the way the configuration happens through DPS.
Okay.
So we have this small app website which is connected directly to the device. I'm actually not sure if it is reset right now because you just caught me
The principles of it.
Yeah,
I know
so,
I took you like totally randomly here, right?
So this is a page which basically shows what the current configuration is.
Okay,
right?
so that's on the device, right? So
This is
remotely,
on the device.
Okay,
yes.
got it.
This is just pretty much configured on the device.
And so in there you have like information to connect to IoT Hub, right? Okay.
So this is the view once the connection has already happened.
Okay.
And the process of provisioning has been completed.
Got it.
So if I am able to reset this, I'll be able to show you that all of this is reset and then walk you through the process. But somehow that's not going through.
That's okay.
That's fine.
Walk me
I'll show
through
you
the principle. Any of the video of that, right?
So here's here's the overall process that happens, which is.
Okay.
So here we have 2 or 3
Device,
different
IoT hubs.
There is your business logic which is running in the back end, and then you have this device provisioning service, right?
So this one comes out of the factory.
Yes.
Does it run any code right now, or do you have to do something? Out of the factory it has code, right?
Yes, it has very minimal amount of code to be able to connect to the device provisioning service, and also some certs which are baked into the device so that it can authenticate itself with the device provisioning service, right? As a pre-step, what needs to be happening is that I as a manufacturer needs to come to device provisioning service and key in some of the device enrollment related information. The certs that you would expect when the actual device comes in for authentication and all of that. So once that has been set up, there are also other things around the list of IoT hubs that you would want to allocate to that device, and what is the allocation policy that you want to set up, right? So once all of that is kind of configured and the device is shipped out and the customer boots up the device, as the first step, the device connects to the device provisioning service. It asks it, hey, what IoT hub do I need to connect to, right? And based on all of those allocation policies that have been configured, obviously the first step is the attestation based on the cert that happens.
You challenge the device, or who you say you are. Okay, got it.
And then DPS contacts IoT Hub and takes the device identifier and registers that against the IoT Hub. Once that happens, it gets all of the device info, which is the actual connection string that flows back to the device provisioning service, which goes back into the device. And if there is like a TPM chip that is enabled on the device, you can also it also secretly stores that in the read-only portion of that TPM chip. And then basically the connection gets established and it just works.
And obviously you mentioned that at scale, so all these devices can come in hundreds and thousands and millions. DPS will ingest the flow of these devices, asking for permission to connect on IoT Hub, and all that will happen in backend. Awesome. Thanks, Pravesh. Thanks for the short demo. So we are now looking more in depth into what's going on in terms of Azure IoT services, right? We are just like talking about DPS here. There's a couple more we want to see. I think we have some more time. So we'll actually jump here with my buddy, Andrew.
Hey, what's
Andrew,
up, Olivia?
how you doing,
man?
Are you ready for me?
I am.
Okay. So Andrew, we were talking about solutions, we talked about edge, and now we're talking about services for IoT, right? So we talked about IoT, well, we will talk about IoT Hub if we have time after, but we talked about DPS.
Yeah.
Total different worlds.
Yes.
That you live in. You live in the world of the time series data.
Yeah.
Right? So what is it? What is time series insights? How does it fit in IoT, real quick?
Yeah, so time series insights, fully managed platform for storing, visualizing, analyzing time series data.
Okay.
Fits in the IoT platform because IoT data, you don't really care about a moment in time, you care about the behavior over time. So you can understand why something happened, what something is doing today, and where it's going in the future.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. You have a short demo for me? Because here we are at Build, right? So we talk to developers, you show demos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So what we're showing today is a JavaScript control library, which we've brought into kind of a state of preview. It's not like a GA today.
Okay.
It's not a big announcement. However, what we've done is we've lit up a series of visualizations as a little bit of a living document. And you'll notice things like line charts, bar charts, pie charts. We have things where you can do discrete events and state events. So what was happening over a set time. We even have things like grids and heat maps that you can light up. And what we've done is we've actually added the ability to just get into developer tools.
Developing a touchscreen.
That's right. That's right. So what we've got is we've lit up a code base that shows you really simply how to create an application of your own using data stored in time series insights. And this library has two key components. One component is a wrapper, a method call, effectively, that will query time series insights in a very easy to use way. It dramatically simplifies our API, and it allows you to use AAD to pull data from TSI and to be able to very easily visualize it. The second component of the library is another method call that takes any time series data given to us in the form of JSON and allows us to visualize that. So, just to show you one quick example of how simple we've made this, with this example, this amount of code, effectively 18 or so lines, we create an aggregate expression, we send two aggregate expressions to TSI in a batch, we transform them back into JSON that's amenable to graphing, and with 3 very short lines of code, we get this.
So a line chart, a bar chart,
and a pie chart, all with this. If I were to change any
only that.
With only that, super easy. This works seamlessly in applications. All the code is here. We've got documentation that we lit up yesterday on Time Series Insights documentation page. So it's really easy to use, very easy for developers to bake this into their own app.
What's interesting in that it actually combines both the data itself and the visualization of that data, like out of the box.
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is an example of an application built using this, where we can go. Let me just actually refresh this so the page loads right.
Windmill is weird.
Yeah, the windmill is
I'm
is
not sure
weird.
it's going to work like that.
No, I don't
You're
think
just inventing a new one with a new spinner on top of another one.
That's right. But one of the cool things that I wanna pull the Azure Maps guys over, because what we've done is we've actually incorporated a couple of things here.
Okay.
We've got Azure Maps where you'll notice we've got windmills. Let me just actually zoom in here really quick so you can see.
Okay.
But imagine I'm an asset operator. I've got time series data. This took 20 minutes to build. This was just a couple of, like 1 minute to build this.
To build the map.
To build this map.
Okay.
And now I've got a functional application I can use with time series data. But I'll let Ricky take over for that.
Cool. All right. We're going to swap that here. All right. So Ricky, thanks a lot, Andrew, for that. So we were talking about Azure IoT services, right? So we talked about GPS, we talked just now about TSI. Azure Maps is a newcomer in the team. Right. Welcome to the team.
Thank you.
Right. So the integration of Azure Maps in that application was pretty straightforward. Can you give us a high-level pitch? You have basically 2 minutes.
All right. So with IoT, you have these devices, you have all those sensors. Well, you have all that data, and there's two important components about that. The first one is the time component, which we just heard about. The other one is the space component, and that's where Azure Maps comes in.
Okay.
And so we help you make sense of that data, and you can visualize it, you can call into our spatial services to make calculations, and make better sense of that data. So if we take a quick look here, here's a good example. We just got a nice nice beautiful map here with some data on it, and it's just showing a route between a bunch of locations. This is actually an optimized route where we just passed in a whole bunch of waypoints, and it used the traveling salesman algorithm to optimize the path so you have a shortest path. So you can imagine maybe you need to go and visit all your devices out, or remote sensors that are out there. You want to do it the most efficient way possible. Well, here's a great way to do that. We have a number of other samples here, so if we
Can I try that myself as a developer? Can I find these code samples easily?
Yeah, so all these code samples that are on here are actually on GitHub. We just press the source code button, and it'll take us directly to that individual sample right in GitHub.
Okay, so it's Azure samples, Azure Maps code samples.
Yeah, okay, Azure Maps code samples on GitHub. Easy enough. And we can see all the source code right there.
Awesome.
And basically, setting up a map is just a couple lines of code. You reference in the...
Is that it?
Yeah.
Just that, and you have a map in your web page.
Yeah, you just got to add a reference to the JavaScript file and a CSS file, and then a couple lines of code, and you've got a map on your page.
Easy. So we get that question a lot since we've been talking about Azure Maps.
Right.
So when do I go to Bing Maps versus Azure Maps versus other services maps, right? What's the big difference or big deal with Azure Maps?
Well, one of the big differences is it's built into Azure, so you can, if you have an Azure subscription, it's just right there in the portal for you.
Okay.
So it's simple, easy setup. Some of the other reasons is kind of the direction. So right now, what we've released with is kind of like the foundation of our platform. Okay. And so it's very similar to other mapping platforms. But as we develop the platform, you start to see us differentiate with a lot more focus on enterprise scenarios. Okay. And a lot of connection into the IoT. So being able to use our maps within in-car scenarios, deeper API functionality for things like commercial vehicle routing and stuff like that are things that we are exposing and working on.
So IoT minded, right?
Yes.
I think you had a very cool demo with like thousands of pinpoints on a map. Do you have it working here?
Well, I do, but it takes about 2 minutes to download.
Because the Wi-Fi is terrible?
The Wi-Fi is
That's fine. I don't want to ruin your demo. So no, that's awesome. So thanks a lot, Ricky.
Thank you.
I'll see you around. Last but not least, guys, we're going to move just next door to the IoT Hub booth. So we've been diving deeper and deeper into Azure IoT services. That one is the last one in the list. And guys, I'm going to interrupt here. Venkat, good to see you.
Hello.
We are live on the IoT show on Channel 9. See you guys on the side. And you can get a sticker for that. Thank you, guys. So Venkat, we've been talking all around about all the Azure IoT solutions. IoT Hub is that core service that allows devices to connect to Azure and for you to then do something more around it, right? Can you actually tell us a bit more about IoT Hub? Like, give you a pitch about what it is, real quick, how it fits into the IoT story, right?
Okay, sure. Yeah, so IoT Hub is
our solution in the cloud that provides three main features, according to me, right? So one of it is device identity and security, right? So what happens is you want to connect a device to the cloud, but you don't want any random device to go ahead and connect to your service. You want only devices that are authenticated, that you have whitelisted. So it provides that whitelisting of only a subset of devices that are authorized to talk to you. That's the identity piece and the security piece. The other one is device management. Devices out there in the field are not static, right? They need software to be updated, they need firmware to be updated, they need configuration settings to be changed. So device management is a very common feature. So that is the second thing that IoT Hub provides. So you can select a group of devices and say, I want to update my OS on them, I want to update my firmware on them, and desired properties. So you can do that. The third final piece is messages. So obviously, if you have devices in the field, you'll have it because you want to send some data from the field, from the edge to the cloud. So this is where the messaging part of IoT Hub comes in, where devices can actually configure or organize whatever data that they're observing in the environment, put them in messages, and send them to the IoT Hub. And once they're into the IoT Hub, the power of the cloud is in your hands, right? So you have Azure Functions, D-Power, you have storage, you have Cosmos DB, and all sorts of things. So these are the three main things, I would say.
How easy it is, I know like our audience knows about IoT because they're following the IoT show. How easy is it to connect to other Azure services? Once you have your data in the IoT Hub, do I have to implement my own app or web app to actually pull the data out of IoT Hub, or do you have other ways to do that?
Yeah, we have a bunch of ways. So actually, it makes it very easy. So we have, for example, event hubs, event grid, the various messaging formats. So we have first-class connections with various services like Blob Store and things like that. So no matter what your use case is, you can quickly configure that service to talk to the data that comes on the IoT Hub.
Okay, cool. So we had some craziness earlier today about the button.
Yes, the button.
We have an IT button. I think a partner of ours created that fantastic thing. So Texmo is the company that built that. And the principle that you press on that button and something awesome happens, right? Jeff actually Holland demoed that during the keynote on the first day. That one actually, I think, sends a tweet, right? It does. So where can people get some information about that button and other kits that they can start with, IoT Hub and development for IoT?
Sure. So Azure Catalog would be the place to go to. For the button specifically, if you're interested, we have a really easy URL to go to. So it's aka.ms/button. Okay. So I can. So if you just go there, aka.ms/button, and this will actually go to the catalog web page right there, and it'll land you right on the page for the button. But once you're there, you can browse around, look at all the other devices and Azure certified devices that are available on the catalog. In this case, you would go to the button specifications, and if you're interested in the button to get your feet wet, you have a getting started link right here on the right. You click that, and it has everything you need to set it up and do exactly what was done in the demo, tweet, do all kinds of awesome stuff. So.
Yeah, I was told it's all open source.
It's all open source as well, yes.
So meaning that actually people can get access to the GitHub repos from Texmo. They can have all the, the PCB graphics, diagrams, schematics. They can also reproduce the 3D, enclosure by 3D printing it, because we have all the files up there as well.
All the schematics, everything.
Everything is open source. I did click a couple times on this one. Can you bring up the Twitter page?
Sure, yeah. You see that file showing up there? So
refresh that one.
All this here.
Threads.
Yeah.
I'm more
there you go.
10 minutes. We've not been talking 10 minutes. Let's see. There's a new one. Yeah,
25 seconds ago. That's right here. That's the copy, right?
Yeah, that's my demo. Okay, awesome.
Cool. All right.
Well, thanks a lot, Venkat.
All right, thank you.
Great overview of what's going on with IoT Hub.
All right,
and so this is the IoT show, and we've been going through all the goodness that we have here at Build for you guys. You can get all our sessions on demand after the events. You can continue following us on the IoT show. If you were not here, you didn't get the sticker, which is kind of a shame for you guys. But we'll be happy actually to give you some at some other events. That was Olivier directly from the Azure IoT booth, and I hope to see you soon on the IoT show, guys. Thank you.